All right, let's talk about how to get good. So, this is what I do. I'm just telling y'all now, this is what I do, and this is what I'm sure other people do as well. So, I'm just going to give you the secrets, okay? So, first of all, let's look at how to make the dummy a little easier to kill. So, I've got things to do. So, I'm going to buy the 2 million dummy reducer, and I'm going to buy the armor reduction module. That way I can get on with my life. So, I mean, I could sit here and punch this thing for 10 million hit points. So there's three of these operations dummies. You can find one on Rishi Stronghold, you can find one on the Alderaan Stronghold, and you can find one on your ship if you've purchased it. So each one of those costs some credits. There's also one on the fleets, both fleets, the Imperial fleet and the Republic fleet. However, the reduction module does not work on it. So what you'll see is that people use this armor reduction module. We're going to get into it in a minute, but basically, this armor reduction module applies a bunch of debuffs. So every class applies some sort of debuff, and this is a list of all of them right here, basically. So you've got assailable, you've got sundered, all of the debuffs that hit um, for all classes goes in and hits, and that way you have them all. Okay. Now, one thing you're going to want to look at is for any class you want to learn to play, it doesn't matter what class it is, you need to read. It's going to be read. I know we're gamers, but you need to read every single one of your passives. To understand what your class is doing, you've got to do some reading. So it's very, very necessary. Okay? There'll be some more reading, but I'll get back to that in a minute. So let's go to the way I use to get good. And it may not be the best, but I'm going to get better at it. I'm certainly going to get learn how to get better. So I want to get better at a class. So what I'm going to do is go to parsley.io, and this is it's basically a place where people brag. It doesn't really. I mean, it's just hey, I'm the best at this. I do this. I do whatever. So there's a lot of information that's gathered here. I don't even know who runs this site. I wish I did. I would send him some money. I have no clue how to even send him money. But if I could, I would. I really love this site. I really overuse it. So right here, DPS parse leaderboard. What you'll see here is a list of all the people who are the best in the world at what they do. If you change this at the top leaderboard, you're going to say on stats parse statistics. What you'll see is the averages, kind of some averages, and averages really tell a lot of the story. But right here, these are all the classes listed in a row from worst to best as far as DPS numbers go when they're hitting a dummy. So all these people are hitting a dummy. They're and this is an average of so you can see Serenity Hatred is the best, and Sniper, the sharpshooter marksmanship is the worst. And really the gap is not that big. You only have a 4,000 gap difference. So it's not terrible. Even the worst class is not terrible. And so by saying worst, it's not saying don't play it. It's just the lowest DPS. There are reasons to play classes that have low DPS, and there are reasons to not play classes with high DPS. So I'm not going into that. I'm going to go into how to steal a rotation. That is how you get good. Is by using a rotation. So there is some gear going on. There's some gear situations. There's key binding. You need to key bind. If you don't key bind, or you don't know how to key bind, or you don't want to learn how to key bind, you might need to think about which buttons you click first and what order you click them in, because not everybody can key bind, and that's just it is what it is. Not everybody can key bind. So let's look at first of all, let's look at it random how to steal a rotation. Let's go right in the middle. Concentration Fury, very easy to steal, very easy to use. So there are a bunch of people who've decided to show their information and show what everybody how good they are, and they are good. So let's go to class. Go to concentration. Let's see, it's gonna be Sentinel and change the concentration, say display, and go ahead and mirror it. Let's go ahead and mirror the results, and we're going to have concentration and fury. So both concentration and fury are both shown, and fury happens to be better. So I don't know this player, but this person has done the best in the world. Out of everybody else, you've got a whole list of people. All of them are probably just as good. We've got one haired, just a little bit lower. Let's just look at this guy. He earned it. He's the best. Okay, right here is your button right here, rotation, boom. And this is showing the Republic because I usually use Republic, but there's also an option to see, go back here to Empire. You can see Empire. Either one will work. Let me zoom this a little bit bigger. So what you can see now, in your under rotation, you're going to see that there is going to be a pattern. This is how you show the pattern right here, and you just say find one of these. So maybe you don't know a whole lot about the class. Just look at the first move that they use. There's a force charge. Do they ever use force charge again? No, they don't. Look at the second move they use. Force crush. Boom. They use force crush. Let's look at it. Create. Boom. There is your pattern. You see how this person has a pattern and just doesn't deviate it except there? Same exact pattern, and then you see this here. Patterns. You're looking for patterns. So what you can do is copy a pattern they're doing. This is your static rotation. That's it. You're done. You know how to play the class now. So what you're going to need to do is some of this is you're going to have to kind of determine how they did what they did and what things they picked in the tree. You're going to kind of need to look at the tree and understand how it's working in the tree and what things they picked on the tree. That you're going to have to determine by reading your tree, and that's what I said. You're going to look at it again. Read the tree and understand what they did. Well, I don't play Empire. Okay, we'll go to Republic. Go to Rotation. What's the first move they do? Force Exhaustion. After the Force Leap, boom, let's do it again. Force Exhaustion, pick it. There's your rotation. Nice and clean. Everything's the same. There's the variation. There's the variation. You see the variation? So he took out one of his probably a slash in there and replaced it with a dispatch. So that's the rotation that is being used to generate this. However, you will notice some things on certain classes. You'll notice that, let's go back to Empire, and you go to the rotation. You'll see that they're doing something a little different. So there is that health modulator that I showed you to buy, and there's this shatter armor that I showed you to buy. So those are two things. But also you'll notice in there that there is a channel hatred. Why are they doing a channel hatred? They're doing a channel hatred because they need to build stacks of for Frenzy to be ready and or Berserk to be ready. They need to build stacks first. So you'll see that channel hatred before it. So that's definitely helpful. This person looks like did it in one shot, and it looks like there was no other changing or cheating. So let's change out. Let's change out another one. Let's see parse statistics again. Let's look. So we looked at Concentration Fury, the best in the world. You stole the rotation. You're good to go. What about other classes? Literally every class has a pattern if they're good. They're going to be some sort of pattern. There are some exceptions. Watchman Annihilation, the pattern is hard to find. There are some out there that you can steal and find. It is a priority rotation. Infiltration, if it glows, it goes. You're not really going to find a pattern for it. It just is what it is. It's going to glow and you're going to hit it. And Scrap Concealment is kind of weird. It's a little different. It's kind of hard to do. So let's look at another, and this is not random. I am picking this intentionally. Focus Rage, very easy to steal, very easy to use. So let's look at Focus Rage. A lot of damage in there. There's some gear involved. There is some things you need to pick on your tree that are very specific. But let's see what they did. Go to Leaderboard, DPS Parse Leaderboard. Let's go to Focus, Display. We're going to go to Mirror, show Mirror Results. Best in the world, let's display that again. Best in the world is this person. I don't know who that person is. No clue, no idea. But this person has chosen to display for us how good they are. Let's look at the rotation. First thing we see, the first move they did was a Force Charge. That was a leap in. They probably never use it again. And Force Crush. First thing he did was Force Crush. However, they do have this in here, a Furious Power and a Mad Dash. That's what I call cheating or fluffing or whatever. I mean, you're not actually going to be able to do that in a real world situation, or I say a real world, in a situation where you're going to be doing that in front of an operation boss. Nobody's going to give you time. They're barely going to give you time to get your stacks of your concentration. So, I mean, if you're, Concentration Fury or some of the Watchmen classes, they barely give you enough time. So they're not going to give you time to be able to change your tree up. You don't have time to change your snipers do that too. A lot of classes do that, or change your tactical. Some people use hidden power for when you meditate, you get hidden power, you get a little bit extra. So just don't worry about the little extra things people do. A lot of people do it to parse. They're just showing us how good they are, and they're also showing us that they're cheating. So whatever. So anyway, first move here, Force Crush. Where's the rotation? Boom. There's your rotation. Steal it. Use it. You're done. That's it. First move. You're done. That is the same rotation there. You can use that forever, and you'll do massive amounts of damage. Well, I don't play Republic. I play Empire. Let's do it again. Rotation. Look at the first move they use. Force Clarity is not used. That's a cheat. That's Force Leap. They leaped in. After they leapt in, they started using Force Exhaustion. Force Exhaustion, create, and there's your rotation. Steal it. Boom, you're good to go. At the very, very end, you'll see that they changed how to retaliate and started using a dispatch instead. That's it. They started over. So there's something special in your tree. Like, if you can't do what they're doing, why can't you do what they're doing? Why is it? That's because there's something specific picked in their tree. You'll have to figure that out yourself or find a guide or something. That's what you can do. Let's look at two more. Let's just go to Parse statistics again, my favorite class to bring is going to be Balance Madness. And Balance Madness, let's look at Balance Madness. Stats, and we're going to leaderboard, parse statistics. We're going to change this to, where is it at? Madness, display, we're going to go mirror, and let's just find what they did. There is a pattern, there's a real pattern here, and let's go to rotation. I mean, I don't know, I haven't seen this person before, I have no clue. And the first move they do is force and balance, but actually the first move is force serenity because that's what they did first. It's the precast, so force speed. Let's find the force speed. They did force speed, boom. This is the rotation. You see how solid that is? Same thing over and over and over again. So there's a little bit of cheat. I mean, Madness is not going to be doing that in an actual situation, and probably not doing this to proc a new force speed. So that's just to get 2 force speeds out there. Sometimes they'll do it, but usually they'll save that God bubble to save their lives. So same pattern. The only thing difference is literally these 2 right here. That's it. You're going to see that they used a sever force before a telekinetic throw, and then here they used a telekinetic throw and then use a sever force. That's the opener. That is for the rotation. So literally, this is the best rotation you could possibly do. I play this class, and this is a very good rotation, and it is solid. So also, you want to keep in mind where they use minimal alacrity. It's amazing. That's a good spot to use it. Let's look at one more. So innovative ordnance. That's a really hard one to play, but there is a way to play it. You can steal somebody's rotation and actually use this class. So combat styles, let's go to leaderboard, DPS parse leaderboard. We're going to change that to mercenary. And this is for PvE, not PvP. So PvP is completely different. You're going to have to do it a different way. But we're talking about PvE. And this is hitting a dummy. And so the reason why this class is a little bit more difficult for high damaging in this particular class for PvE situations is because some of their hard casted abilities don't work the same way. So there's some precast in there. You want to get your stacks of supercharged cell up. What's the first move they do is incendiary rounds. Let's do that. Let's do incendiary round, and boom, there's your rotation. All right, so what you're going to see on this rotation, there is a change up in their opener is going to be a little bit different. They're going to have they're going to want to have some procs in here. So this is very different. All their little opener is different. But after their opener, you'll see that there's a pattern. I'll take a screenshot real quick. First thing you'll notice is these 4 are always the same. Every time. They're always the same. Where the variation comes is this next set here. These next 2 or 3. This is where the variation comes. Probably trying to manage heat. So what you can do is use your what's that called? The cell, the super cell on cooldown, because you notice it all over the place. You'll use a super cell on cooldown, but the variation comes in these here, because if you notice, these final moves here, these final 4 are exactly the same almost every single time. They're almost always the same. So there's a little variation here, but if you want to steal this rotation, it's going to be a little bit more tricky, but you're looking for a pattern. Where does the pattern continue? Where does it change? This is where it changes. So literally everything else is the same. This is the pattern difference. So if you wanted to play this class, what you could do is narrow it down to this one here. And the only variation is this guy right here or this guy right here. And that's all you need to do. And you can play this class. That's all you got to do. So have fun out there trying to steal rotations and steal these different rotations that other people use. And if you don't want to keybind, you can just use a hard static rotation. And have fun out there.